YouTube, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Welcome back to some more tournament matches. We are on the outskirts of Altdorf, and we're going to be seeing a fight between vampires and greenskins. Who knows? Maybe they're fighting over the scraps of what's left of the Empire after Archaon rolled through. That would actually be fairly close to what's happening in my campaign. But that's not what this is. This is Felkon versus Xiphos. Two fantastic players, and they are facing off in the Changeling's Challenge Tournament. This is the one I recently played in that I kept referring to as the Wheel Tournament because they used a random faction wheel. So yes, we're going to see Vladdy the Daddy von Karstein matching off against the Greenskins. And the Greenskins, I'm trying to remember who their leader is. Let me go pull it up. It's Wurrzag. So Wurrzag and his Greenskins. So the Greenskins are going to be controlled by Xiphos. Or Xiphos, I don't know exactly the right way to say that. I'm going to say Xiphos for now. You guys can correct me if I need to be. Anyway, we've got a vampire army led by Felkon. This is going to be very interesting. Felkon's gone with a pretty small, fairly elite vampire army. He's got Varix Reavers and 2 Blood Knights. I think this is potentially to help kind of stop big units. And then he's got the Dire Pack too, so he's definitely got a lot of anti-large capability over here, and he should, because one aspect of the vampires that people routinely try and take advantage of is the vampires' lack of anti-large infantry. Well, they have spearmen. Yeah, I know. They're just really weak. They don't have, like, really elite, high-tier anti-large infantry. And then we've also got this Black Coach. I'm going to get you some sweet shots of the Coach here. Great unit because it could be used to help nearby infantry deal with very tough greenskin infantry. There's going to be 2 Graveguard with great weapon, and then the Sternsman. And you can see Daddy up here with his spearmen. And let's go take a look at the greenskin army. And the greenskins are obviously hoping to have some capitalization on the vampires' inability to field skirmishers or halberds or something like that. So they have brought a giant along with Wurrzag here mounted on his boar. His dancing will have to wait, folks, but he can still preach the good word. Over here we got some Night Goblins. This is a unbreakable unit. Should be a good one against the vampires because they can't tear around it. There's some Goblins on the other front. These two might be just kind of chaff to help put a buffer between the Black Orcs and the vampires. There are 2 units of Black Orcs, and then from an archer standpoint, there are 3 Orc Error Boys. The Broken Tusk Mob, so this one could be kind of a an insurance policy against flyers, would be my guess, potentially. And you got the Rusty Errors here, too. I think I called it out as a standard Error Boy, but there's 3 Error Boys and the Rusty Errors amongst the Black Orcs. There's several Goblins in the background as well, and then we've got some Forest Goblin Spider Riders there, probably to impart poison and try and slow down certain units from the vampires so that they can be destroyed by either archers or other infantry. So let's kind of think about the matchups here. Vlad von Karstein is going to be tough as nails. He heals a lot, and he's going to be difficult for the greenskins to kill. So I think that's a solid pick for the vampires. You don't want to lose your lord in a fight like this. Wurrzag does have effigy to get. The giant will be good at pummeling lots of vampire infantry, but it's not invincible. The 3 Black Orcs give the greenskins a huge amount of hitting power, but this is a lot of archers that the vampires need to try and deal with. They do have a lot of cavalry, but they can't throw it away. They can't throw it away. Now, as for the vampires, their infantry core is pretty tough. It's no match for Black Orcs. With the support of a Black Coach, may be able to do alright, but honestly, like, if I was just looking at my own playstyle here, I would be worried about my capability to use this vampire army successfully, but that doesn't mean Felkon can't do it. So I really don't know how this one's going to turn out. My worry is if I was using this vampire army, I'd miss micro something somewhere, lose a key unit, and then the jig would be up. Let's see if he uses the effigy of the Git on the Coach, because otherwise he's going to have a difficult time stopping the Coach. As long as it stays away from those Tusk Mob, should be okay. But the longer the Coach can stay in combat, the more damage it's going to do. Look at this, a quick charge here by Felkon on the flanks. I wonder if he's trying to draw the infantry and the giant over. He's going to fall back. He's going to take a little bit of damage, but he deals a decent bit of damage here too. Ooh, nice quick charge here on the Black Orcs. Let's see if the Tusk Mob responds, because there's a lot of other charges. Oh yeah, the Tusk Mob's coming in. Coach potentially, and oh yeah, it gets effigy of the Git. The Tusk Mob's all over it. The errors are on it. That is going to be the end of the coach. Look how quick it melts. What a play by Xiphos there. He dealt with that swiftly and decisively. The giant is pulling out to try and come help against this cavalry, which is coming in. Is that a foot of Gork? Oh. Okay, the foot of Gork did land a little bit on one Blood Knight. If that cavalry would have taken any more damage there, that might have been a GG. These Black Orcs are double teamed. And then this Grave Guard with Great Weapon is free back here, but look at the errors flying in, to use my orc speak. These two are a little blobbed up. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. These guys have already done tremendous work against that Black Coach, but look here. Got an open lane now to some of these archers. There's a little bit of protection here, and this cavalry could pull out, and it is. Let's see what's going to happen here. Vlad is being attacked by Wurrzag, but Vlad hasn't even budged on his health. Okay, here comes the Broken Tusk mob. And the Spider Riders could be very useful here, potentially, too, because of their poison effects. There's an invocation of Nehek and Avanel's Dance Macabre, so these Blood Knights should be hitting harder than usual. There's a lot of infantry in here, though, too. And then a giant. I just feel like this is going to overwhelm the Vampire cavalry back here, regardless of all the good support from Vlad. Vlad's going to summon some zombies there. It's a good call to tie down the Rusty Heirs, who are really just fleeing for their lives back through that. A second Black Orc shows up over here, and now these Graveguard are in some pretty serious trouble. Sternsmen are still kicking, albeit barely. Spider Riders are out. Varix Reavers, the two Blood Knights still in decent health, and if they can continue the cycle charges, they'll start to cause a lot of damage, and if the Tusk Mob is gone, the Greenskins could find themselves in a spot of trouble. Oh yeah, there's trouble brewing back here. The leadership's starting to waver. There's big trouble brewing back here for the Greenskins. And it looks like one of those Black Orcs is going to pull out, maybe come assist back here, which means that this Graveguard with Great Weapons should be able to finish this other Black Orc. It's already wavering on its leadership. Oh yeah, Felkon is now all over these archers. He's going to use an Effigy of the Git to pin down one of the cavalry units. That's going to be the Varix Reavers. And he's going to use, Xiphos is going to use the Black Orcs to try and push those back, and the Rusty Heirs are helping. Looks like Daddy von Karstein finally taking a little bit of damage, but it's not the end of the world. If this Dire Pack and Blood Knight, and they're doing the right thing here, just avoid the Giant, go for the Errors. The Giant is slow, and that's going to be his downside here. Yeah, the Vampire player, Felkon now just picking at the archers. If he can get rid of the archers, I don't see what prevents him from winning this fight. Because Daddy is not going to die easily unless he just sits there and lets the Giant pummel him. And I don't see that happening at this level of play. Oh yeah, Rusty Heirs out. Black Orcs now coming in, gonna hit the Sternsman. The Giant is available to support too. It's kind of just, it's still showing as an even match here. The Black Orcs are back here trying to protect these heirs. And Varix Reavers are just gonna be cycle charging. And the Orcs don't really have an answer to it. Look at this. Wurrzag gets caught. His leadership is wavering. The Giant is coming in to support. There's a Wah popped off of Wurrzag. He's going to rout shortly afterwards. He's fortunate to have gotten that Wah off when he did. Look at this. Zombies being used to tangle up the Black Orcs. Charged by the Blood Knights. Sternsman holding out strong against the Night Goblin Fanatics. And the charges of the cavalry now are going to be devastating, and now the Giant can be KO'd. With no support, the Giant takes all the damage. So the Vampire player can now come in and focus on the Giant with some Skeleton Spears with Vlad. There's some Graveguard with great weapons there. The cavalry is just trying to keep moving. I think that's a good choice. Zombies over here distracting a Black Orc while the Varix Reavers run charges. Interesting charge. I'm not really sure what... Maybe there's like a weird center of mass on the unit at the time because of the way it was spread out. Yeah, the cavalry is being used to run out the support for the orcs, and I would imagine they're going to clean up these regrouped errors while Vlad tries to do some damage to the giant. The leadership of the giant is going to be getting weak at this point. That early showing by the greenskins against the coach was downright impressive and extremely well played. Extremely well played. So... curious to see how this one finishes up, but it looks like it's heavily in favor of the vampires at this point. And understandably so. The greenskins have little answer to what's left on the battlefield. And the leadership of the greenskins is going to be significantly hurt because of the loss of Wurrzag. So despite the damage-dealing potential of these black orcs, they're up against cycle charges, and their leadership is strong for greenskins. But I don't know of any infantry units in the game that can lose their leader and just sit here and tank that kind of damage. Let's look at the final screen here. So if you'll hear a little bit of screaming in the background, it's because the little heirs are anxious. We're supposed to be heading off on vacation. So yeah, they're probably at my door screaming at me to get going, and we will be going soon. But in any case, hope you all enjoyed this one. We had Felkon versus Xiphos. And in this matchup, although Xiphos, like I said, did do a good job of handling the black coach, the greenskins just got overwhelmed by cavalry in the end. It was just too much for them. So they weren't able to handle it. The giant got overwhelmed in the end. A great pick, potentially, to do a lot of damage to a ton of vampire infantry or other things, but it can't really do great against cavalry because it's just too slow. And once the cavalry was able to clean up the Tusk mob and the Spider Riders, then it was just a matter of time as they continued to mop up everything. So very expensive investment into the cavalry here by Felkon, but it ended up paying out. Quite a lot of money invested in the coach that did not pay out, but he was able to continue on. And I mean, it was very close there. Had that Foot of Gork landed a little bit harder on some of that cavalry, that could have been the end of the battle for Felkon. So I mean, there was some interesting tipping points back early in that battle. Xiphos popping out early, smashing the black coach, smashing it, leaving it at 0 kills, and then nearly catching that cavalry with the Foot of Gork. And like I said, that would have been a decisive play, I believe, if it happened, because then the vampires would have been worn down by all of this infantry, and then their archers would have been able to just go to town on the vampires. So I do like the pick of Xiphos here. I think it's, honestly, for me, greenskins against the vampires is a really tough matchup. And you saw here how he's got the right idea. He's headed down the right field here and could have potentially won this battle. I'm not going to make any suggestions about how he should have changed his army because I honestly don't know at this point. Like I said, it's a tough matchup for me. I usually just default to trying to use like spiders and giants and all that other kind of stuff. But if you don't have the right support, those can lose too to a good vampire player. It's a tough matchup because greenskins tend to have low leadership, whereas vampires tend to have units that can really break your leadership. All those zombies have fear, which reduces the leadership, and they can be summoned behind you. There's a lot of struggles that the greenskins are going to have against a well-played vampire faction. Anyway, do hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now, and I will be back soon. I'm going to be showing a lot of tournament matches. This was actually game 1 of the tournament finals, so Felkon goes up 1-0, and I will show you all what happens next.